Harvest Moon Festival, the company gave out freshwater crab gift boxes to employees that I was afraid that the crabs would be bad, so I took a taxi home in advance with the stuff. Who knew that before I walked into the house, I heard my father-in-law's laughter. Good thing, Sylvia had a car accident. The car was flattened, surely dead. My mother-in-law was also overjoyed, that barren woman. I'd been wanting her out of my house for a long time that I just got the news on my cell phone that there was a series of car accidents on the road that I must take to get home. Sylvia is me, but it was my husband who was driving. I stood outside the door, listening to the laughter in the house, while a cold sweat broke out violently. That my mind was in turmoil at the moment, and it took me a few moments of standing still to calm down. Just a short time ago, I was sitting in the company to work. The group's administration notified us to go to receive this year's Mid-Autumn Festival gift box. This year, the company's earnings are good. In addition to the mooncake gift box and a box of fruits, this year there is also an extra box of freshwater crab. Because it is landlocked, freshwater crab is still a rare thing in our side, the supermarket, to buy the small size. Not to mention the price is also expensive. And this time the company sent our authentic Yangcheng Lake freshwater crab, each pickup than my fist is bigger, and are still alive. Now I am completely out of the mind to go to work, will be in the hands of all the things to deal with. I carry freshwater crab off work, ready to bring the crab back to share with the family. That I didn't even take the subway because I was afraid that the crabs would be dead and not fresh, so I took a taxi home instead. That I didn't realize that I was full of joy to take the freshwater crab and want to share it with them, and I was indeed greeted with the scene that they couldn't wait for me to die. A few people in the house continued to talk about it. And while they were happy, my father-in-law was worried. Are you sure it's Sylvia? If it's not, we're not all happy for nothing. The mother-in-law's voice is very firm. I watched her go this morning. This can still be false. You see my circle of friends others sent. This license plate is Sylvia's car. The front end of this car is all squashed. Even if she is made of iron, she will definitely die. When Gong Gong heard this, he was also happy. Good, good, good. Dead is good, dead is good. Unfortunately to their disappointment, I didn't die. I had just pulled the car out of the garage this morning when I got a call from my husband, Ryan, who said he was in the elevator and asked me to wait for him for a while. That I picked him up on the way. His office is a little farther away than mine, so I got out of the car and gave him the keys to drive back from work. That I didn't realize that it saved my life. The joy of saving my life had not yet dissipated, but a great concern came back to me. Ryan drove the car, so he was probably the one who got into the accident. That I hurriedly opened my cell phone and found the video of the car accident scene, and now only half an hour has passed since the accident, and the video is already flying all over the place. Even someone in our work group has posted a no-code video. On the screen, a sedan fell on the ground on its back, blood flowed all over the place. Not far away from the three sedans crashed together. The front end of the car is seriously dented. There was even a broken leg on the ground that didn't know who it was, and there was blood everywhere, making people's hair stand on end. One of the most heavily damaged cars. I hadn't even looked at the license plate before I was already sure that it was my car without a doubt, and the person driving it was undoubtedly my husband, Ryan. Ryan and I are university classmates. Free love. Marriage is also a waterfall. After marriage and in-laws get along with it, also quite amicable. But I didn't realize that my in-laws, whom I regarded as my own parents, actually wanted me dead. My sincerity was really fed to the dogs. Now that I think about it, I dodged a bullet today. Standing here, is God cannot stand to see, step by step to guide me to discover the truth. My cell phone suddenly rang, and I immediately pressed answer and ducked into a side stairwell. The call was from the police, telling me to hurry to the hospital. I screamed in my heart that it was not good, and immediately left the neighborhood. The one who could reach me in the car was more than likely Ryan. After all, he and I had been a couple for a few years, and I was still a little worried, but I soon realized that my worries were redundant. I dropped my stuff off and rushed to the hospital. There were so many people injured in this car accident that the hospital hallways were filled with family members. Upon learning that I was Ryan's family, the police officer, with a stony face, asked for my condolences. My feet went limp, and I almost collapsed. But then he asked me if I recognized the young woman sitting in the passenger seat. My newly softened feet instantly hardened again. Along with the hardness came my fists. Since the car was dowry from my family, Ryan occasionally drove it, but we agreed that the passenger side was only for us as a couple, and the occasional friend of the opposite sex ID just let them sit in the back seat. Now that he had an extra woman in the passenger side, I knew with my toes that it wasn't normal. Thinking of this, I immediately pulled up the car's surveillance. before the neighborhood appeared a car thief, smashed the glass of several cars. I bought a monitor on the internet installed in the car, thinking that it is not a big deal. Did not tell Ryan. I did not expect that. Now just convenient for me. Click on the monitor, into the eyes of the young woman's face. Very pretty, very young. I also recognize. Ryan went home a while ago and told me that there was a trainee in the company. She was his sister from the same school and the same major, so the leader asked him to bring her in. That I think her name is Luna. For a while after that, Ryan would bring up this name almost every day, and when I felt something was wrong, he told me that he just saw her as an alumnus and felt close to her, nothing else. Am I on the list for this full-time position? On the monitor, Luna very skillfully got on the passenger side and pulled down the fender to start applying her makeup. Of course, without looking at who I am. Great, thanks Mua. Luna was so excited that she kissed Ryan on the cheek, and he was very flattered, turning his head to Luna despite the fact that he was still driving. A kiss on the face is enough. The next second, the two immediately kissed passionately in front of the camera. I turned off the monitor, but inside I suddenly relaxed, the sadness of losing my husband in the previous moment and his betrayal. In this moment cancelled each other out, and I smiled instead. I don't recognize it. Is she okay? She's not seriously injured, just some soft tissue contusions and a broken calf. The cop pointed me to her hospital room and I walked over. I can't have surgery. I'm pregnant. I want conservative treatment. Inside the hospital room, Luna screamed, her voice loud, looking like there should be no problem. I just stood in the doorway and took a look, then backed off and told the police, this is my husband's true love, and now she's pregnant with my husband's child. You guys don't tell her about the fact that my husband's gone yet. I'm afraid that she won't be able to handle it. The police and the nurse inside gave me a sympathetic look when they heard that. I followed the police to the morgue and saw Ryan's tattered body. Luckily, one face was just a little bit broken, otherwise I wouldn't have recognized it. Hubby, you've gone so badly. Journey to the afterlife on You Can Walk Slower, I cried and collapsed on his body, but really cannot cry, can only dry thunder not rain. After determining the identity of the deceased, the police returned Ryan's relics to me, and the cause of the crash was because a speeding motorcycle appeared in front of me and changed lanes illegally, and the car behind me couldn't dodge and crashed head-on. Inside the Ziploc bag, Ryan's cell phone lay there quietly, the screen shattered into cobwebs, but thankfully still turned on. After sending the police away, I contacted the funeral home on one hand and started looking through Ryan's cell phone on the other. When I clicked on WeChat, the top group chat was called Happy Family, but there were only 3 people in the group, my parents-in-law and Ryan, not me. My mother-in-law posted a video of the car accident scene to the group and tweeted, Ryan, son, is Sylvia dead? Look at it. In-law, it's true that God is helping us. It's not in vain that I pray to God every day. The in-laws in the group had been overwhelmed with joy and were frantically etching Ryan. I hurriedly replied back on his cell phone, yes, it's wonderful. The group started buzzing again over that comment, and I replied in Ryan's tone while making arrangements for the cremation. Only an hour had passed and Ryan had gone from a corpse to a box of ashes that I paid for a nice urn for him. After all, I would need it afterward. After that was done, I contacted my attorney again and began to lighten the property in Ryan's name, almost staying up all night. I posted to the group, Sylvia has so much property to inventory, I won't be back for a few days. My mother-in-law immediately replied, good, this woman has so much money, as well as cars and houses, all of them are ours. Her deadbeat father will not live long, then all of them are ours. Well, this is to want to inheritance grabbers, also not afraid of taut broken teeth. I took urn back to my father's house. Looking at the things in my hand, he almost fainted. He asked me uncertainly. I threw the box to the floor and then stomped on it, making sure he had taken his antihypertensive pills today before I related the story. Son of a bitch, a family of assholes. As expected, my dad was immediately furious and red in the face after hearing this. And the next second, he hugged me to death in his arms again. Luckily it wasn't you. If you had left, Dad wouldn't have been able to live. I patted him on the back. Don't worry, your daughter has a long life. My in-laws don't know that it was their good son who died yet, and I'm still planning to give them a big surprise. I told my dad about the plan. Now in the eyes of my in-laws, I was dead, so I couldn't step in, but my dad could. Early the next morning, my dad went to my in-laws' house, dressed all in black. As soon as he entered, he looked at his in-laws with tearful eyes. In-laws. My in-laws also immediately entered the scene. In-laws, I'm sorry for your loss. The 3 of them sat in the house, each with their own preoccupations, and my dad didn't dawdle, getting straight to the point. The child is gone, we old things, parents burying their child, it's better to let him go in a dignified manner. Right, we also think so. The child left suddenly, have not had time to notify these relatives and friends. The in-laws kept nodding. After all, they still wanted to collect condolence gifts. Then they'll contact a guru to do the math, to see which day is suitable for the funeral. The child loved to be lively when he was alive. We must invite more people. My dad proposed at this time, the mother-in-law face, but the face of the difficult color. This funeral to be quite a lot of money, right? This money, goddamn dead old woman, want to collect condolence gifts, but also afraid to pay out money, only eat not spit, really not afraid of being propped up. That my dad's face sank. I'm a widowed old man, the hands of a few money In-laws, you too can have a pension, not so much that this money cannot take it out. In-laws looked at each other, the two were silent. My dad sighed, what about the child's compensation? It can only be done with this money. The mention of this money, both in-laws lit up. They were so happy that they completely forgot about the matter of the car accident compensation money. You're right. Let's go to the police station now and ask how there's no compensation money. A good child is lost like this, there has to be an explanation. The mother-in-law stood up, her eyes were firm as never before in her life. 3 people immediately rushed to the police station, ready to ask for a statement, and this was something I had planned for a long time, because yesterday the police informed me to go and talk to the perpetrator about compensation today. However, he told me not to hold out too much hope, because the car accident had spread too far, and the perpetrator was just that one person, and the perpetrator was also dead. So his family might not pay for the damages. In that case, let's forget about the compensation. I still have to thank him for helping me get rid of this negative man. The 3 people soon arrived at the police station, but they came late. At this moment in the hall has come a lot of family members. 3 people died in the accident and several others were seriously injured. The one with the least injuries would be Luna. The family members were sitting on the chairs, their eyes were red, and some of them were sobbing in a small voice, which was a strong contrast to the 3 people who were red in the face. Comrade policeman, how much can I pay for the death of my daughter-in-law? The mother-in-law's voice was mid-sentence. The police were stunned, but there are all kinds of people in the world, and they've seen a lot of them, and just said, the compensation program hasn't come out yet, because the perpetrators died on the spot. And their families aren't very cooperative with the work. Not far away, a middle-aged woman with a tear-stained but fierce expression on her face stared viciously at the people around her. My son died too. Who will compensate my son? All of you wait for me. My son died so tragically, none of you can escape. The people around her all looked at her very angrily, but didn't dare to make a move because they were in a police station. Your son was driving without a license and speeding. He deserved to die. He killed so many people. He can only be an animal in his next life. My daughter took the college entrance exam this year. She's still lying in ICU. What are you going to pay for? The people around her were talking and attacking the middle-aged woman, and she couldn't stand it, but she still said with her neck, they deserved it. That is their bad luck. My son is the treasure of the whole family. What do you take then? Isn't it just money? If you guys have the ability, you can arrest me and sell my organs. If you want no money, you want a life. The perpetrator's family then sent a woman, it seems to be determined to rely on not pay the money. This woman was very shrewd, but she ran into my mother-in-law. I saw my mother-in-law stride up and slapped the woman in the face. Ill be damned. Your son deserved to die. My daughter-in-law is a white-collar worker with a monthly salary of tens of thousands of dollars. You'll have to pay for it even if you go to the street. My father-in-law also went up to her and yanked her by the collar. Pay up, don't try to renege, or I'll go to your house every day. The woman was slapped twice and immediately fell to the ground and began to cry. Murder. Is there anyone who cares about this? You guys take me away. I'll pay with my life. The hall was in chaos. One person went up to punch someone. Others could no longer hold back their anger, rushed up to punch and kick her. The police rushed up to separate them, a group of them beating one another. The middle-aged woman was pressed to the ground, blood coming out of the corners of her mouth. Murder. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to sue them. This was the police station, and the police were right in front of her. The in-laws still didn't take it seriously and were full of disdain. Humph, your son killed my daughter-in-law, and you're the one who's evil. I stood outside the crowd. I can see clearly. This woman was beaten the whole time, did not fight back, and the top of the head is the monitoring, which gave her the opportunity. The in-laws see the money cannot get, lift the foot ready to go, but the result is stopped by the police. they are the first two hands, the middle-aged woman on them, and now they want to go cannot go. Maybe they don't understand, obviously they are the victims, how to pay for money in the end. Point 2 slaps, compensation for $10,000. Two people did not ask for money, but also lost a sum of money into, walked out of the police station. Don't mention how bereaved my dad was watching the whole show, and then pulled out money from his pocket. When he pulled out a plastic bag, layers and layers of open. There is a handful of crumpled bills and a few dime coins. That in-laws, this is all the money I have, don't mind. The in-laws' faces were uglier than the death of their own son. That I almost laughed out loud in the back. When my mother-in-law heard this, she turned around and looked over. I immediately ducked into the milk tea store next door. Hurry up and go home, it's really bad luck. Eunuch urged impatiently. Why do I hear Sylvia's voice? The eunuch rolled his eyes. You've lost your mind, Sylvia is gone. Where's the sound? Yes, in-laws, are you missing Xiao Yu too much? We'd better hurry back to discuss the aftermath and send her away. My dad also persuaded. Right, let's hurry up and go. The funeral should still be done without delay. Having lost $10,000 today, it was imperative to get the money back another day. The three of them quickly chose an auspicious date together to notify relatives and friends to come to the funeral. I took a picture of the urn with Ryan's cell phone and sent it to their group, saying that I would be back with the ashes by then. For now I had one more important thing to do. Luna was released from the hospital as soon as she was almost healed, and I watched the surveillance from the car, where Ryan gave himself up and jumped on top of her, deflecting the impact for her and keeping her and the baby in her womb alive. That I got someone to look into her for me and found out that she had living parents, a happy family, and a good education. So how could a girl like that want to go and break up someone else's family? Since I greeted her, she didn't know Ryan was gone yet and sent him quite a few messages. That I sent her a message on Ryan's WeChat and asked her to come out and meet me. The next day I got to the place early and Luna saw me as soon as I walked in the door and her face went cold. She sat down across from me and opened her mouth to ask, "Where's Ryan?" I smiled. "There's no rush, you'll see him, but there's something else I wanted to ask you." That I had initially thought that it could be that Ryan had lied to her and forced her to be a mistress, but now it seemed that my worries were purely redundant, but I still wanted to give her a chance. "Are you with Ryan because he threatened you with a full-time position?" It's not easy to get a job these days, and I can understand going down the wrong path because of it. Who knows? Luna even puffed and laughed. "Big sister, you're overthinking it. I'm with Ryan just very purely because of love. I love him and he loves me, but he is married. You don't care. What's wrong with that? It's the unloved that are the mistresses, and Ryan promised me he'd divorce you soon." Looking at her complacent face, I was actually a little unsure how to advise her. "Big sister, anyway, I'm pregnant now. If you don't want it to be too ugly, just step aside yourself and I'll ask Ryan to give you a little more of the property." That I sneered. "If Ryan really likes you so much, how come he didn't dare to contact you again after I found out? Looks like that love still can't stand the test. You must be the one hiding him. Ree wouldn't ignore me. Don't you dare try to sow discord." "Where the hell is Ree?" I sent her an address. "Come here in a couple days and you'll see your Ree." Luna left soon after. I was going to let her off the hook, but she had to come up with it herself, so don't blame me. Soon came the day of the funeral. In-laws invited a lot of relatives. Memorial Hall also decorated very grand. My mother-in-law received condolence gifts. Obviously want to smile, but have to pretend to be sad. My dad chose the most beautiful photo of me, added a black and white filter, and put it in the center. There were a number of wreaths placed next to it, and morning music was playing in the room, making you want to cry just listening to it. "Auntie, is sister-in-law really gone? How come there are only photos and no body?" Ryan's cousin asked as he circled the memorial hall. Granny wiped her non-existent tears. "Too many people have died recently. There's a line for cremation. Your brother said he'll bring the urn in a while." "Huh? Just cremation? Wouldn't that be too hasty?" "You don't know, the body was crushed, so we had to burn it in a hurry." Soon all the people in the house had arrived, but my ashes were still not ready. One of my relatives, my sister, who was on good terms with me, was skeptical and said, "No, what's going on here? We don't even have ashes for the funeral, so we're doing it in the air." Time passed by, and the people in the room became more and more impatient. "Yes, how long have we been waiting? Is it possible that the person is not dead at all?" My mother-in-law was also anxious and sweating profusely, and kept sending messages in the group. "Son, has it come yet? Where are the ashes?" I replied to her, "Coming, you guys start first." Having gotten a reply, my mother-in-law immediately greeted the host on stage. Thank you all for coming to Ms. Sylvia's funeral today. All observe a moment of silence. The following people bowed their heads. The next part was the life review. My dad offered to edit the photos of my doorway over the years into a video to be shown at the memorial hall. So soon 2 projection screens were moved on either side. When are you going to get a divorce, little leprechaun? I've long since looked at that old woman afraid. As soon as you get pregnant, it'll go right back to divorce. You are so nice. An unpleasant sound of water resounded in the memorial hall, and everyone looked over with wide eyes. The in-laws were also stunned at how what promised to be a bio of me turned into a video of their own son hookup in the car. It was a compilation that took me days to cut out, and there were even more explosive ones. I bought a super sexy nightgown for tonight. Wear it for you tonight. I can't wait. Hurry up and give me a kiss. I end the video. Ryan, despite the fact that he was driving, wrapped his free hand around Luna's neck and kissed her on the mouth. Bang. In the next second, there was a loud bang from behind the cars. But, Yuki, watch out. Ryan dove onto Luna as the screen went black and the world fell into silence with only a few pings and clanks. Likewise, the others who had watched the video were silent, most of them too stunned to speak. The north wind that blows, the snowflakes that float outside the memorial hall. The sound of a song rang out, breaking the silence of a room. Everyone followed the sound and looked over as I walked in with my urn, dressed in all white. Hubby, you died a horrible death. I shouted. My in-laws froze in place, their expressions red and white and purple like an overturned palette. Thanks, Sylvia. You're alive, alive. The granny looked like she had seen a ghost. And she couldn't even speak well. I walked over and pulled her hand, probably because Memorial Hall is heavy with chi. My palm was cold, and the moment I touched her, she jumped up in fear. Ghosta, get away, don't touch me. I looked sad. Mom, it's me, I'm alive. I turned my head to my father-in-law again. Dad, look at me, I'm not dead. Eunuch froze for 2 seconds and then looked at the urn in my hand. What is that thing you're holding? It's Ryan. Didn't you all see in the video just now? Ryan was in a car accident. He's not dead. My words were like a thunderbolt from the ground, blowing everyone in the room out of the water. No way. My son can't be dead. You're lying to me with a broken box. The mother-in-law yelled. Mom, you watched the video. How could I possibly lie to you? Ryan really is dead. The surrounding relatives finally realized it was an oops, so it was Ryan who was driving the car and ended up dying in the accident. But they thought it was Sylvia who was driving the car, so they got the wrong person. My God. This family is really weird. They want to have a funeral without even figuring out who died. That woman in the video isn't Sylvia, is it? Oh my God, Ryan actually screwed around and got himself killed. I can only say he deserved it. He couldn't help but kiss Homewrecker while driving the car. He deserved to be run over. Listening to the words of these relatives, mother-in-law still cannot accept the reality. Looking at me as if quenching the poison. It's you. You must have killed my son. You bitch, I'm going to kill you, to bury my son with me. The granny said while lunging towards me. I stood still and didn't move, waiting for her to rush to me, her hand raised high. I immediately took out my urn and blocked it in front of me. Bang, the granny couldn't close her hand in time, and the urn was knocked over by her, the ashes inside flying around. I hurriedly took 2 steps back, fearing that I would get covered in it. On the contrary, my mother-in-law was directly scattered by the ashes on her head, and there were a few tiny bone crumbs sticking to her hair. My son. The mother-in-law screamed and fell backward without being able to catch her breath. The father-in-law took a big step forward and hurriedly held her up. Marrying a woman like you is really a misfortune for the family. At this time, my father, who was watching the show from the crowd, walked up. My daughter marrying a scum like your son is the family's misfortune. When your son died, it was God who couldn't stand to watch and took him in. Injustice has a head, debt has a master. My daughter is also a victim. Why don't you guys go find that mistress? She is the one who killed your son. As soon as the words fell, another person outside Memorial Hall walked in. Ryan, are you there? Luna arrived just in time. Everyone looked at her and automatically made way for her. She took one look at my picture in the Memorial Hall but then saw me again. Sylvia, are you okay? You gave yourself a funeral? Stimulated out of your mind? My mother-in-law looked at Luna's familiar face that she could never forget in her life despite aiming to see it in the video. Homewrecker, killed my son. I want your life. She stood up from her father-in-law's arms and rushed forward with great strides. She grabbed Luna by the hair and with her other hand she snapped and gave her several big smacks. Bitch, and you killed my son. I'll kill you. The mother-in-law had killed her eyes at this moment, using her whole body to punch and kick Luna. Stop hitting, let go of me. Help, Luna was isolated and helpless. She was no match for her mother-in-law, being pressed to the ground with no power to fight back. She could only yell for help. But none of the people in this room were on her side. All of them were standing at a distance watching the show. None of them wanted to help. Help! My stomach hurts. Stop fighting. Luna fell to the ground. Covering her stomach and rolling around, the mother-in-law cursed, "Bitch, stop pretending. What's wrong with being young? She had to seduce my son. You deserve it. You'll pay for my son's death. I'm pregnant with Ryan's baby. My stomach hurts." Hearing that Luna was pregnant, her mother-in-law remained unconvinced. Trying to trick me? No way. You won't get away today. I'm really pregnant. Ryan knows it too. Where's Ryan? I stepped in at the right time to add, Ryan died, for saving you, saying that the video of the car accident started to play on the big screen again. Luna fainted at that time as well, so she didn't know the real situation of Ryan, and now that she saw it, she was heartbroken. Auntie, she seems to be really pregnant. Why is there blood on the floor? It was only then that my mother-in-law realized the bright red marks on the floor and her lips trembled. You're really pregnant? Really, it's Ryan's. Now that Ryan is dead, this one in Luna's belly is the last bloodline of their family. The in-laws will not delay any longer and will send her to the hospital. As a result, before they could walk out of this door, they were stopped by their relatives. Your daughter-in-law is not dead at all. You have to return the condolence gifts to me, right? Pay back the money. Are you just trying to scam money to intentionally stage a fake funeral? There are quite a lot of people here today, in order to collect condolence gifts. The mother-in-law even called up her old classmates from decades ago. Originally they were not connected for 8 lifetimes, and they were not happy when they gave condolence gifts, and now that they have made a mess, they surely have to get the money back. On the one hand, Luna wailed in pain, and on the other hand, a group of people stopped to ask for money. The eunuch thought about it. The money can still earn, the grandchildren are gone, can only return condolence gifts one by one. But how hard he hit people at that time. How much he regrets now. When Luna arrived at the hospital, the baby was long gone. I was relieved to hear this news, and then told her parents about Luna being a mistress to someone else. Her parents decisively came to the hospital and took her away, all the while apologizing to me over and over again. Ryan's last bloodline was gone, or by his own hands. In-laws instantly looked like they had aged 10 years. But that wasn't all. The next day I brought someone to the door. All the things in this room, throw them all out. I don't want any of them. Burn these photos for me. I don't want to see him again. The in-laws looked at all this with a dumbfounded look on their faces and rushed forward to stop. What are you doing? These are my son's things. Put them down. Put it down. Uncles and aunts, let me inform you that the down payment for this house was given by my dad, and I'm the one who's paying the mortgage. So now that Ryan is dead and the marriage is dissolved, you're not entitled to stay in my house any longer, and I'm giving you 1 day to move out, or I'm going to have to resort to coercive measures. Why mother-in-law thought I was messing with her. Coercive measures? How about you force one on me? I didn't talk to her much, and with one fire I burned all of Ryan's photos, not a single one left. If you guys move out immediately, they'll consider returning his relics to you instead of throwing them in the garbage. Ryan's ashes are gone now too. If there's not even a single piece of clothing in the burial mound, it wouldn't be a real wandering spirit. I laughed very wildly. These 2 old things, I have ways to deal with them. Gong Gong gritted his teeth. Give us Ryan's stuff, let's go. Soon the house was cleared out and the in-laws left. This house is now bad luck for me to look at, and I don't intend to live in it anymore, and immediately posted a rental information on the internet. In-laws, they have no place to live, but also unwilling to go back home. So the whole day in front of my house, want to take back the house by shameless. The house is 3 rooms and 1 hall. I directly rented to 3 people, a tattooed guy, a sports student, male university, a gloomy social animal. I waived their security deposit and utilities because of these 2 old things. The first day the 3 of them moved in, it was only 7 in the morning when there was a knock on the door of the room, and needless to say, it was my annoying in-laws. They brought food for the day and sat at the door, knocking every 10 minutes for the whole day. If any of the neighbors came out to see what was going on, they would start crying. My son died, and my daughter-in-law doesn't care about us now, and has kicked us out. This is going to drive us 2 old things to death. The neighbors heard them and started accusing me, but I don't live in the house again. Or so the tattooed guy told me. I told him that I had nothing to do with these 2 old things anymore, so they could do whatever they wanted. The tattooed guy immediately rushed out the door and yelled at the neighbors. His son fucked another woman in the car before he got into a car accident and was killed. This house was originally the daughter-in-law's, and they still want to hog it. There's really no justice. Get lost, or I'll call my brother to get you. and post pictures of your son playing with women all over the neighborhood. The tattooed guy flashed a dragon on his arm towards the eunuch and threw him out like a little chicken. The mother-in-law saw that the hard way cannot hurry to soften. Big brother, we also have no way out. Two old guys, no money on the body, we really have nowhere to go. Sportsmen big face to see a good show expression. Where there is nowhere to go, you can go to death. It was the gloomy social animal who gave them an idea. Didn't you get compensation for your son's death? That money by definition has a portion for you as well. The two of them looked at each other. Having been defeated when they went to ask for the money earlier, they were all but hopeless. The gym student also said, yeah, you guys put this shameless energy on the perpetrator. You'll definitely be able to ask for the money. That's not the same as this house. That amount of money is what your son traded his life for. It's only right to ask for it. Point 3 people you a word I a word. The two old things also feel the advantage in him, immediately pack things ready to go to ask for money. They first went to the police station, knew the address of the perpetrator, and then looked for it, waiting until the door of the person's house only to find out, this perpetrator, family conditions are not good, or a minor, the motorcycle that caused the accident, he stole someone else's, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The owner also sent a lawyer's letter, so that they can pay for the money. That's why that middle-aged woman went crazy at the police station that day. When her in-laws paid out $20,000, she also took away to buy a grave for her son, and didn't spend a penny on herself. That I don't have any money. You see where the organs on me are worth money, you go ahead. The woman saw the two in-laws and looked like a dead pig. It's okay if you don't want to pay, well, have plenty of patience as the days go by. The two of them took a loudspeaker and made a big fuss about her son to the neighbors, making noise from morning to night every day, and vandalizing with paint at the door. There was literally nothing to do. But what they didn't realize was that rabbits bite when they are anxious. On this day, when the two of them were pulling banners at the door, the middle-aged woman opened the door and said expressionlessly, "You want money, right? Come in and I'll give it to you." The two old things happily followed her in to get the money, not realizing that what was waiting for them was not money, but death. These days the woman couldn't eat or sleep well and couldn't stand it any longer. After closing the door, she told them to sit down for a while and went to the kitchen to make a cup of tea herself. By the time she left the kitchen, there was a knife in her hand. It took most of a month before the police contacted me. The house was so smelly that the neighbors couldn't stand it and called the police. There were 3 bodies lying around the house. Point 2 were my in-laws and the other was the murderer. Since the death of her son, she has long been do not want to live, in-laws and every day to make trouble. This day is getting more and more difficult, so they will take them all away. After she killed those two, she killed herself. I told the police that I no longer had anything to do with them, and that the bodies could be disposed of however they wanted without informing me. Now their family of 3 can finally be reunited.